Hello, everybody. We are just pumped up with that intro music. It really puts us in that beautiful mood. And happy Friday, everybody, whoever is watching from wherever you're watching. And today is another episode of Living in a Miracle, Real Stories of Everyday Miracle. And today I have my beautiful guest, Jocelyn Parkhurst. Jocelyn, just tell a few things about yourself.
Okay. I have a PhD in political science, and I've taught political science at the college level for over 20 years now. I retired from that last November and have been turning my focus on what I love to do, which is create tools. I create education and learning tools. I create spirituality tools. I create tools that help you live in the energy that you want to live in. I also am a self-published author of now four. One's from a long time ago, and now three of Planner and a new gender and spiritually neutral edition of The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles. And I just self-published and released my novel Incognito. So that's kind of me, my history. It's all over the place, and maybe we'll get there.
That's so amazing. So amazing. Thanks so much for sharing. And I was like so excited to have you on the show. I just, love that vibe and all your connection to spirituality. And, I'm also all about spirituality, and it's just like that special connection that we have. So Jocelyn, tell me a little bit about the miracles, right? Because the idea of coming up with these episodes was just, we live in the world where people kind of ignoring all the things that are really important, right? We are so busy to live the life that we are not really noticing little beautiful things every day. And I said, miracles don't have to be something grand or huge or something like out of this world. Miracles are really simple things that if we care to notice, we truly appreciate them. What do you think about it?
Absolutely. What's cool is I have a video called Presencing, and it is exactly that. It's how we get so caught up in doing things that we forget how to be. We're doing stuff, we're not being. And in it, I talk about, either one time I heard this idea of everything's a miracle, or either nothing is a miracle or everything's a miracle, right? And I'd rather live in a world where everything is a miracle. And once I started moving through that, and that idea of presencing, or just stopping and looking at something and actually seeing what is here in front of me right now, rather than being in either the past or the future or somewhere else, I began to see exactly that, the miracles. It's like, one of them is just outside my window in the kitchen. I have some roses outside, and this one pink rose bush, it has one stem that comes straight up, probably a good 4 feet. And then from that, it springs into 3. And then from that, it springs into a bunch of them. So it's like a dozen pink roses on one stem. And to me, it's amazing that it grew like that in this beautiful little bouquet. And I think dragonflies are freaking amazing. And bugs, it's like, how do we do that? If you really think about your own body and what it is and what it does and how intricate and everything, it's just it's mind blowing to me. And then I'm a gamer. And to me, being able to I play World of Warcraft, and being able to play World of Warcraft with somebody going in China, basically, or on the other side of the world, we're all playing together, and it's instantaneous. that to me, that blows my mind, that we could be talking like here, you're in New York, I'm in Washington, and we're able to have this conversation. To me, I'm sure the science and, yeah, I think there was a quote that I saw and I forget what it was, but it's like, everything that seems impossible is inevitable. And to me, I just think that that's the miracles. It's like everything that seems impossible is inevitable, and we can do that. And so I am right with you. I see so many miracles every single day.
That's so beautiful. Thanks so much for sharing. And I totally relate to that. I started to be more and more conscious of what is around me. And although I'm also busy with my thing, which is normal thing for human beings, right? I tend to stop myself, to pause myself and notice something that is really beautiful and miraculous. And I have my cat, and I just love to observe my cat. I'm like such a feline person. And just looking at them, like they're so playful, and so they're very affectionate, right? And I'm just thinking to myself also, it's just like, this is a miracle. Like every animal, like you mentioned, every bug, right? Everything is like, breathing and has some life to that. So we have to appreciate more and more exactly that we are also the beautiful breathing experience of beautiful gift called life. This is so, so beautiful.
Yeah. And it's hard to see that. And, that's my quest, is to, quiet the villains in our heads so we can hear the superheroes in our hearts, because I think everybody in our era has trauma, right? We have something in our past. I was sexually abused as a child, and then I was in an abusive marriage for 13 years. And while that sucked at the time, I've come to see the outcome of that is that event opened the door to me being who I am today. And subsequent events, like 3 years ago now, when my husband left me, and we're getting divorced, that it rocked me. It really, truly rocked me. And it's taken a good 3 years for me to let go of all of that kind of stuff. And I lost my train of thought. And I know you'll bring it right back to me.
Oh my gosh, what was coming for me just with all the trauma, right? Yeah. Like you were sharing, right? And I know that all these events in our life, whatever happened, meant to happen for our own internal growth, right? So we could evolve and become who we are. Because looking at you, you're like so full of life. You are so, like happy, dandy. And looking at you, the outsider would never thought that you had all these things in your life. And it's amazing. Like this is exactly when we are talking about the power that we all have within ourselves, right? Because we don't even know how much potential we have unless we go through something like that in our life. And then we realize, oh my God, no matter what, I survived that, right? And not only I survived it, but I thrived on it.
Yeah.
So it gives you more and more evidence of saying that who says that you cannot do whatever you want to do in life, right? You actually being created the way that you can have anything you desire. And a lot of people just not aware of that. And that's exactly why we are here, right? Just to spread that beautiful news that no matter where you are on your life journey, no matter your age, no matter your education, your status, you can pick up yourself from where you are today and create something miraculous for yourself tomorrow.
Exactly.
What do you think about it?
I love that. And as we said, that trauma happened. Now, it didn't happen overnight that I changed to who I was. It's like, it's that up and down, and you move and you go through an event and you explore and explode. But it's like, when I decided that I wasn't going to be anybody else, that I wasn't going to be who my husband wanted me to be, that I wasn't going to be who my religious leaders wanted me to be at that time, I wasn't going to be who my mom wanted me to be, anymore. I was going to be who I wanted to be. And then it took some time. Oh no, I lost her now. There we go, she's back. And then so it's oh gosh, now I lost my train of thought again. But
that once you realize that you want to be who you truly meant to be.
Right. Then it was a step-by-step of releasing all these other things, because it didn't just happen. I had to use tools, I had to use processes, I had to use things. But what happened is I start to be able to be free to be who I am. And the more free I am to be me, the more I allow myself, regardless of what other people think about me, I'm going to just be me. The more I am seeing the beauty in the rest of the world, because I'm seeing the beauty of me. Those things that people feared about me, because I speak my mind. I speak what spirit tells me to say. Sometimes people don't like it. Sometimes it doesn't come out very happy. Sometimes it's kind of salty. And sometimes it's really beautiful and kind. And, whatever it's whatever it is, ultimately it is a reason. Sometimes it's a pattern interrupt, right? And a pattern interrupt isn't always nice and pretty. Sometimes it's kind of abrupt. And so, when somebody who does that, who follows spirit and says, okay, this is what the message this person needs, a lot of times it brings fear in that other person. And that fear comes back. And then I feel that fear, because I also can feel, I'm an empath, I feel people's energy. And so as a little girl, especially, and as a young person, I didn't understand that. So I shut down. Or I just, I didn't understand that about me. I thought it was bad or wrong or whatever. Well, being able to say, I just want to be me now and free to be who I am. I now love that part of who I am. And I now have people saying, I love that part of you too. And in doing that, I can start to do it a little bit with more elegance and grace. But again, it allows me to see the beauty of the whole picture. When we're not saying this is good and this is bad, or this is right and this is wrong, we're just saying everything is experience, and what energy do I want to live in? So what actions are going to make me feel good in that energy? How do I make that energy for me? It's not whether an energy is good or bad. Is it what you want? And then figure out how to get there, if that's the energy. And I want to live in beauty, peace, magic, love, joy, healing, and fun. That's the energy I choose to live in. I'm not always there. I got really mad today. I don't like to drive, too much in the city and stuff, because I tend to be an offensive driver. So I'm trying to calm down. And this one truck just came zooming. We were all just trying to pass this truck on a city street. And this truck comes zooming up and almost clips my front bumper. And I had to slam on my brakes, and the guy behind me almost hit me. And I was really angry. And this is honest transparency. And he was then tailgating the lady in front of him. And we ended up having to stop at a railroad tracks. So I got it, because the train was going by. So I got out and went over to the car and said, you almost caused an effing accident. I'll be sure to call your employer. And, the 18-year-old guy it was terrified. The other guy wouldn't even look at me. And then I just turned around, went back in my car and calmed myself down. Normally, I have never done that in my entire life. But that individual needed to know that, because they could have gotten in a worse accident. They could have killed someone, including themselves. And for some reason, I had to say that. So I still get angry, but I always feel like there's a reason behind it. And there's a beauty to that. Some people will say that was cool. Some people won't. The lady in front, who he had been tailgating, went out the window and yelled, "Thank you." He was tailgating me too. So it's like, we're afraid to do things nowadays for what people might say or do back to us. And I've just decided I can't be afraid. I just got to follow spirit. I got to follow that voice inside of me. I just have to do that. I'm not, it's just like, okay, that happened. But on the flip side, a different miracle of one of my past roomies had left an old cell phone, and I asked if I could take it to a kiosk and sell it. And she said, yeah. So it's in Walmart, and I don't typically go to Walmart, but I was going in, and then a song came on as I'm walking. They had it in the foyer before you even go in. A song came on as I was listening to it. And it was a song I really love to dance to. And don't ask me the name of it. I cannot tell you, and I can't even sing it, but I just know I love this. So I just started moving my hips, and this person walking by kind of giggled. And then I said to myself, Jocelyn, if you're going to dance, dance. And so I put my cane to the side because I have a bad hip and a bad knee. So I walk with a cane. So I put my cane to the side and I said, Jocelyn, let's just dance. And so I wasn't in the middle of it. I was over off to the side under a speaker. And I just said, let's just do it. And I have 12 years of ballet and jazz dance in my back. So I was moving and I had my eyes closed for part of it. And all of a sudden I opened my eyes and there are two women dancing with me. And what I feel is even more important to me, because I love dialogue, is that they were of a different ethnicity than I am. And so they just felt compelled to dance with me. I loved it. And after we were done, she said, thank you so much. I had so much bad energy in me that just shook it all out. And oops, no, I might not be good. There we go. And then, and I was like, thank you. And oh my God, I just like exploded with joy and love and everything. It was so much fun. And then I walked inside, and inside was a little group of the Walmart people. They were laughing and having fun too, watching us. And so it's just like all the way around, it just like brought so much beauty. And to me, that was such a beautiful miracle of connection to other people. It's like I chose to just let go of my inhibitions, go what people would say is right or wrong to do, and I'm just gonna dance this song because it came to me from spirit right now in this moment. I don't know why I'm supposed to dance now, but afterwards I did, because someone else needed to see that dance and to dance themselves. And to me, that is just like, that's the miracle right there.
That's such a beautiful story. Thanks for sharing. And as you were talking about it, what comes to me was like, okay, Jocelyn had that catchy energy. And by sharing that energy with others, you allow others to be themselves as well. Because when we are free to express ourselves, I think it's the best freedom that anybody could have. Just, be yourself, express yourself, and don't care who likes it or not, as long as it stays, in alignment with yourself. And then by our example, people become more open. People also start doing things that they might have in their mind, but they were not giving themselves permission to do that because they were too scared to be judged or look, funny or something like that, right? But when you have that freedom to express who you are, you don't care about anybody else, because that's what really makes your heart singing. And this is the beauty of it, right? That's another miracle, right? Just be yourself, do whatever you feel like doing, and the life becomes more colorful, becomes more beautiful, and more miracles are coming your way.
Yeah, absolutely.
So anything else you would like to share, like anything recent that was really miraculous in your life?
I just think every day is miraculous. I wake up every day and I just say, I have a little song that I do every day. It's just, I probably got it from someplace else. So it's just super simple. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for this day. And I sing that, and I sing it all the time. And I say, thank you for this food. Thank you for this water. Thank you for this, whatever it is that's in me, because, it's all a miracle. And I think the biggest miracle is trying to do this focused change. I know the perception of how difficult it is in our lives sometimes, because, I haven't worked in a real job employment since last November when I'm focusing on this. And yet, I haven't had any income coming in. I didn't have a nest egg. I didn't have anything. I just gave into the voice in me and said, this is what I'm going to do. I had people yelling at me. So at the new year, I was like, okay, I will try to go back into academia. Spirit said, no. I have a lot of credentials, I think the worst thing about it is I'm 60 years old. And so people may not want to hire a 60-year-old. But I have a lot of stuff that, I'm whatever. But I couldn't get an academic job teaching. They just flat out in political science. They're just not there right now. And academia is having its own issues at this point in higher education. And then when I got called on to several different projects, but they all ended up folding. You know, they all ended up stopping for one reason or another. Nothing had to do with me. It was all about their business, or one was with China. So relationships with the United States and China impacted what was going on. So that fell apart. And so different kinds of things. You know, it was absolutely fascinating to me to watch how spirit was talking to me from my environment. When I said I wanted to do this, and I changed my mind, and spirit was like, nope, you already told me you were going to do this. And so then I've been just looking at this, and one might say, well, are you sure it's really working? Like the science of getting rich, in your thoughts and your giving and your loving and your appreciation and your gratitude. I'm not sure I'm seeing it, right? People might say from the outside, because it's still every month I'm going, how am I going to pay my mortgage? How am I going to pay my bills this month? You know? And yet in this moment, my bills are all paid. I've got food in my fridge, you know? So it's like, somehow it has worked. And one of the other things is, it's like every time I start to like think of something, like I was on my way home and we have this taco truck at this one corner, and it's just an amazing taco truck. And I was tired. I was like, man, it'd be really cool to stop and get tacos from Tony's, but you know what? I'm too tired. I'm just going to go home and have a sandwich or something. And so I go home, and I was talking to my daughter, Rachel, and she's all of a sudden, she goes, Mom, do you want something special? You know, why don't we go to Tony's? It's like, boom. It's like these little tiny things. If we're aware of, like, that was a miracle. That was that intention. Okay, I have big dreams, but you know, sometimes it starts in the little drops, and if you can see the little drops, and you can say, oh, I see that. Thank you. Yes, I see that. More, please. Thank you. And then the drops will start coming. It's like, one of the dreams I had, this is so funny, was I have this vision of me working with Sage Robin. I have a girl crush on her. I think she's the absolute most amazing person. I don't know. I have never met her, but I just love her. I don't know why. I feel a connection to her. And so I have this image. I'm working with Sage Robin, and I did a visualization at time things like beginning in beginning in January, February, March, I'm going to start having a connection with Sage and da-da-da-da. I got a job writing questions for a textbook that was being published by Sage Publications in March. Now, it wasn't Sage Robin, but it was Sage. I thought that was absolutely fascinating. The universe is saying, okay, we're on the right track, but that's not quite what you're supposed to be doing. And so it's
that's
like,
so
you know, if we can see it, and other people would say, well, you failed. And I would say, no, I didn't. This happened, and this happened, and this. I did get to work with somebody like this, and da 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 da. And so, if we're aware, if we can just say and trust, which when somebody's gone through trauma, especially sexual abuse and physical abuse from people that are close, then trust is a very hard thing. If you've had somebody who has left you for someone else, trust. And there we go. And so when we can let go, though, of those past beliefs, let go of those past stories, and decide, those aren't the energy I want to live in. Those aren't the stories that I want to have. Let me recreate my world by recreating my stories and my energy. Then we begin to be free to say, okay, that was that. I learned from it. I can now relate to people who are going through that or have had that experience in a really true way, and be able to just be more free every day to be who I want to be.
That's so beautiful. You know what I was thinking to myself? Our brain is miracle, right? And our mind is the creative mind. And once we decide to, like you were mentioning, shift our focus, right? Don't focus on the problems. Let's focus on beautiful things that we have and appreciate everything. Like you were singing this beautiful song about thank you, right? So the same way, the more we start noticing these things, the more we appreciate these things, the more of the good things we are going to pick up on the way, right? So it's all miraculous because you realize that you do have the control of it, right? You do know that you could shift your mind and think about the things that you truly want to attract to yourself. And things start to appear out of the nowhere. So for people who don't even understand what we are talking about, I encourage you to try. because it doesn't cost you anything, but just, experiment with your life, do something different. It's like, if you don't do anything, you don't have anything. So just try to experiment and entertain yourself, and come with the mind of the child who is just playing. Just remember, but because we all have that inner child inside of us, it doesn't matter our age. We all want to live, to play, to express, to live in that curiosity state. So once we say, okay, this is the life that I know, but what if I'm gonna just try something else? What if I'm just gonna think of something and let me see how the universe is gonna conspire with me and deliver exactly what I want? But obviously, there is like a whole practice with that, for that, right? With the tools, with the like mindset exercises, because if you wish for something in 1 second, but then again go back to your negative thinking and saying, oh, okay, this is BS, it's never gonna work, I knew, like, why would I even try something like that, right? You have to maintain that beautiful mindset where you are ready for experiencing all of these things. And like Jocelyn said, on the way, you'll see there are some, stumbling blocks, right? Some roadblocks. But again, this is not something to stop us. We know it's just going to be like a little bit of the time. And once we go over that, that's exactly where we are going to end up to have exactly what we want to have in our life. And that's beautiful, because when we're stretching our limits, we actually taking this beautiful journey, and it's not even the destination where we arrive once we receive our dreams that matters, but who we become in the process, because the growth is tremendous. We learn how to pick up on the signs. We learn how to recognize good in anything what we are doing. We stop focusing our minds on negative, because that's how our brain was programmed. We reprogram our mind for something beautiful, for something miraculous, and that's exactly how everything starts shifting in our life. So our mind is beautiful, it's miraculous. And just as you were mentioning, Jocelyn, I was thinking, okay, I have to remind everybody that we could create miracles with our mind.
Yeah. Co-creating, absolutely. Yeah. It's interesting. Again, the one thought that just keeps coming to me, I don't know why, but it's like karma. When we know, people often say, well, what about karma? We get caught up. And I love Sadhguru. I've been a Buddhist I was Buddhist for about 37 years. And then I left the organization because of a variety. Well, from my perspective, there was too much culture and structure and competition going on at that time within the organization, and including what was going on outside the organization. And for me, that wasn't Buddhism. And so I decided, okay, I'm going to let all that go, and I'm going to just do spirituality. And it was cool because I've looked into all kinds of different religions and ancient texts and stuff. And so I started just seeing so many different threads, and I began to see that I can actually I have this gift of being able to get through the bullshit. I can take a text and I can say, okay, this is a cultural part, doesn't need to be in it. This is a religious part, not spirituality, but religious. I can take this out. This is not kind. This is judgmental. I can take this out. And then reform it, and then it has a much clearer message, like I did with the Science of Getting Rich book. It has a much clearer message now. And so that's what I did with my Buddhism. Is I decided, okay, what first I need to go through, and I need to get rid of the bullshit. And so and then the heart of it always comes back to, and I think we have a lot of agreement on this, is there's only one law, one rule, one thing to go by. And that is, we create our world with the energy that we bring to the moment, and then we step into the world we created. That's it. Everything else is just noise. And so karma isn't things that happen to us. Everything potentially happenable in the universe is potential for us. Karma is how we get through it. What energy do we bring to that event? What do we say? What do we do? right? My karma was to get mad at that guy in the truck. And not to handle it smooth and calmly, at least that day. So, you know, but my other karma was to dance with the women in front of Walmart. So, you know, it's all over. But it wasn't the event, it was how did I respond to it? That is our karma. And we can get out of that. We can change that. We can decide how do I do that, right? And so now I'll go through tools and, you know, and explore why I got so angry. You know, it's a justice thing with me. You know, and what's, you know, this so, but that to me is, you know, that's where our miracles come in, is when we bring that energy, whatever we want to create. You know, if we're bringing anger, then we've created, you know, something out of anger from there. Now, anger isn't necessarily all bad. In Buddhism, we have the 10 worlds, which are hell, hunger, anger, animality, humanity, bodhisattva, Buddhahood. No, I'm missing one. Humanity, tranquility, learning, realization, bodhisattva, Buddhahood. And if you look at anger, though, all 10 worlds are within the 10 worlds. You can have anger and use it at a Buddha level, or what I would say an enlightenment level, or a loving, absolute love level, is what I call that now. And so if you take that, and then you can have hunger at a love level, right? And because it moves you to take action. You wouldn't have your podcast if there wasn't some anger somewhere in your past that said, I need to address this issue. And so you are addressing it from a very high energy, what I would call high energy level, you know, versus a low energy. And that's just from the, you know, I'm not claiming one's good or bad. You can do anything with any energy level, but what do you want to create and what do you want to step into?
That's so beautiful. So Jocelyn, before we wrap up, can you just give us the tool? Because I know you have a big toolbox of everything. Give the audience the tool how to look for these miracles. Okay.
First, I will say, if you go to my website at threebringswarriortraining.com, and at the link, it says free resources and tools. And I'm adding more and more all the time, but you can go, there's all kinds of tools on spirituality, energy, overcoming anxiety, basically changing the story that you have about anxiety, because anxiety isn't anxiety, it's your energy. People have told you it's something different. Education, learning, creating your own courses. There's a lot of free tools on there. For looking at the miracles, finding them, I think the best tool is you just stop. And I would just do 4-4 breathing for, you know, maybe about a minute, which is inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4 counts, exhale for 4 counts, hold for 4 counts. And just do that for a little bit of time. You can have your eyes open or closed. And then just open your eyes. And just just start looking at things. Whatever, you could be indoors, you could be outdoors, anywhere, and just start looking at it and saying, oh, look at this phone. Look at my phone. It's so cool. It's like, it's got a little apple and it's got a camera and it's awesome. And what does it do for me? I get to communicate with people. I get to create connection and love, and I get to take pictures that I share with people. This is a fucking miracle.
That's true. So true.
So yay. With anything, and so that's what I would say is just to look, just to allow yourself to pause, give yourself something to separate you from that moment to this moment, and then just stop and just take some things to be really aware of and really look at.
That's beautiful. And for me, what comes for me that I could share with the audience is just when you wake up, set intentions that you're going to see at least 3 miracles during the day, and just go on that beautiful, you know, hunt and see what is going to come up for you. I think it's fun, and I think it's very entertaining, and it also sets our mind from our scarcity and problems to something interesting and fun. So thank you so much for being the guest today, and obviously check out the link that Jocelyn shared, and all the best. Keep looking for these beautiful miracles because they are always around us, and it's just up to us to notice them. Wishing everybody a beautiful, beautiful weekend, and thank you so much, Jocelyn, for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thank you.